Good morning, friends. I'm Black Dragon, and we're going live. Oh my goodness. And this video I wanted to call 7 Successful Habits for Prospecting, but I don't know if it's going to actually be 7 or not. So this is going to be, I may call this 7 Successful Habits. It just depends on how many habits I come up with. I didn't write them. That's one of the few times that I am not as prepared as I'd like to be, and I didn't actually write the habits down. So this is coming entirely from the top of my head. But first of all, I want to say good morning, and this is Braveheart, and Braveheart is doing much better. He has a cast on his leg. This guy's honking at me. He's got a cast on his leg, and we're just trying to do what we can do to save his leg. And he's walking a bit better, and he's eating again, and back to a little bit of his own self, barking at everything he sees on the highway. So he's making great improvements. So anyway, when we get down to it, prospecting has one major purpose for the prospect, and that purpose is to cross over into the full patch brotherhood. So in regards to dynamic prospecting, all of the things we talk about are wonderful and fine and dandy, but how do you get crossed over? How do you become a full patch? That's what your goal is. That's your ulterior motive, if you want. Now, you should have other goals within that, like getting to know the MC, getting to know your brothers, proving your worth, proving your value, proving your we-ness, proving your being about the MC. These are also things you should be looking to do. And if it all goes hand in hand, in the end, you'll be patched over. And that's what you're looking to do. Prospecting and hanging around and all of that, what good is it if you don't cross over, if you're not able to realize that dream or feel as though you've accomplished something? You know, we're not in this to waste time. I often say prospecting is excellent as it gives you an opportunity to evaluate the club, and the club an opportunity to evaluate you. But after those evaluations are over and you've decided this is a place I want to be, then you want to get your prospectship over with and your full patch brotherhood on, and begin your MC career, your MC lifestyle, your MC love affair, whatever you want to call it. So it's important that if you decide these are the guys I want to be with, that you fulfill the requirements. And for some MCs, it's a time requirement. For some MCs, it's a just how we feel about you requirement. For other MCs, there are a number of milestones they want you to accomplish. But in the end, it's going to be, and then some MCs, you just never know. One day they walk up and they've got your patch. I think I like that the best. As a prospect, like, you never ask, when is my prospectship going to be over? You just do what you're supposed to do. So there are some habits I don't know how many yet. I'm just now getting started. There are some habits that excellent prospects that I've seen. So, like, no matter who you are, not everybody's going to like you, but I have met some prospects that everybody seemed to like. Like, nobody had, and if everybody doesn't like you, if nobody has anything negative to say about you, that's just as good. So there are those prospects like I was that hardly anybody could stand, and you have a hard time. And then there's those prospects that everybody seems to love, and they just flow through the process. And sometimes they turn out to be the shittiest members, which, by the way, just because someone's an excellent prospect doesn't mean they're going to be a great member. So if you're a prospect and you're doing the most to cross over, when you become a member, continue to do the most. There's nothing like a disappointing hot runner, somebody that came in running hot and then they are just the most so-so member or sorry member, and I've seen that happen too. So start out like you're going to hold out. And that's that thing, you know, you can easily be a fake person. You know, people are married to people for 20 years before they find out how fake they are. So a prospectship is never really going to determine whether or not somebody's real or fake. So when you develop the habits of good prospecting, continue those habits into good membershiping. Continue being an excellent prospect for as long as you're a member. I remember this one guy used to say, I'm always a prospect, always learning, always trying to fulfill a higher purpose in the MC life. And I think that if you're trying to do that, you're going to be an excellent member, always learning, always trying to fulfill a higher purpose. But these are some habits that I have seen and that I would recommend for successful and dynamic prospecting. And when I say dynamic prospecting, it's how do you get in? How do you make an impact? How do you do great things for the MC? How do you learn as much as you can about the MC? How do you cross over quickly and efficiently and begin your MC brotherhood? That's what I mean by dynamic prospecting. Instead of walking around with your thumb up your butt trying to figure out which way to go and getting frustrated because your sponsor didn't really know either, and the MC's not giving you any backup, I make these videos to put you on a path of enlightenment, baby, so you can get there, get it happening, and get on with what you're trying to do. So, some habits for successful and dynamic prospecting. So let's say, like, habit number one, the most outstanding prospects that I've ever seen are those prospects that are seen more than they are heard. This is a habit that's worth developing. If every time we see you, we hear your mouth, especially complaining or interjecting with no knowledge. I'll never forget the one prospect. We had a guy in the club and we found his colors for sale on the internet in the UK. And nobody could imagine how his colors could be set for sale on one of those bidding sites in the United Kingdom. And the prospect posted on our chat something like, "That's sorry, SOB, to hell with him, F him," and all these things he said. And this guy had been a member for like 25, 30 years. So it's like, you don't know enough about this MC to make a statement like that about this guy who, for all you know, could have sold his right testicles to keep the club up and running. See, you never know. As a prospect, you don't know, you're just getting in. So the best thing to do is keep your mouth quiet. It turned out that the guy had died of cancer, and his family had scandalously put his colors up some kind of way. He wound up dying over in the UK. And when we found this out, here this prospect is looking crazy for the things he had said about a tenured member. So as a prospect, realize that you don't know enough to start talking. So be quiet. Be quiet, look and learn and listen and make yourself useful. If every time you see the prospect, he's doing something useful for the MC, and every time we see him working and turning and burning and helping, what can I do? When can I help? What can I do? When can I help? That's the kind of stuff that makes your prospecting dynamic, and people want to be a part of you and they want you to be a part of them. I'll never forget, we had a prospect recently in one of our chapters, and every time I looked around, I could see this guy. He was over at this guy's house helping him fix his motorcycle. He's over at this guy's house bringing his trailer to take this guy's motorcycle to another member's house so that member could work on the motorcycle. We had a member whose mother-in-law got lost, left the retirement facility, and he's one of the first people on his motorcycle looking for the mother-in-law. Just every time you look around, whenever his president is out, he's near the president, running security for the president, open the door for the president, make sure the president is seated. These kinds of things. Every time you see him, he's turning and burning. It makes you look at that guy and say, okay, we might have someone here who wants to work their way into the MC and give all they have. Another thing, a successful prospect volunteers. Get your volunteerism hat on. Don't wait to be told what to do. Show initiative. A good habit of a successful prospect is initiative showing. Show initiative. Good habit of a successful prospect is to always show up on two wheels. Some of the brothers get lazy. It might be raining outside. It might be cold outside, but they have their patch. They're in the MC. You're trying to get yours. So never show up in a car when two wheels will suffice. Even if it's cold, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's raining, let them see your ass on two wheels. It really does look good for the prospect. Another thing that a prospect does not do is a prospect does not engage in motorcycle club politics. Motorcycle club politics can be really, really lousy. And what you'll see is one side or the other will try to coach you in on their side. And as a prospect, since you need everybody's vote to get in, you don't take any sides. When you hear that rumor mill starting and that BS starting, the prospect makes himself ghost. He gets busy trying to clean the latrine or mop the floors or back the bar up or something like that. He makes himself scarce when the rumors and BS are flying. And that keeps you out of one side or the other. Because you can see it get real nasty, like one side won't vote for you to get in the club because they're afraid that'll add a vote to the other side. But it's impossible to do that if you haven't taken any sides. Oh, let's see. Another good habit of a successful prospect is the habit of getting to know the members of the MC. And you do that by engaging them. You do that by asking them stories about themselves. When did you get in the MC? What did you do? What was your best day in the MC? What was your hardest day as a prospect? What do you love most about the MC? Learning the history of the members of your MC puts the MC in perspective for you, the prospect. It lets you know the real life stories of the brothers that you are going to be serving with. It lets you know the real life stories, the objectives, the agendas, the good times and the bad times. Really? really. What are you going to do with the cone on your head? Okay? Stop that. Stop being so damn mean. Excuse me. It gives you the it gives you the ideas of where these members came from and what their stories are. You know, one thing that is really sad is being in a motorcycle club with people who only know you by your road name. It's crazy. They only know you by your road name. They don't know where you live. They don't know your address. They don't know your family name. If you had a motorcycle wreck, this person would say, oh, yeah, that's Black Dragon. Could you know my name? Do you know the blood type of your members? Like if they needed blood on the side of the highway, would you be able to tell them your brother's blood type? Where his wife worked, who the next of kin to call is? It's hard to call yourself a brother of somebody if you don't know jack about them. Other than that's, that's Suzuki Dan. Oh, that's going to do me a lot of good in the hospital. So, a good prospect gets to know the members of his motorcycle club and gets to know who they are and where they come from. A good prospect also learns the history of his motorcycle club. It is the most just silly thing to be wearing colors that you don't know the history of them. And sometimes knowing the history of the colors is about like going and asking the founding members. Like, there are so many members that don't even know the history of their colors. You ask somebody, oh, well, where did this come from? Why do we have the purple in our patch? And they'll say, oh, well, the founder's favorite color was purple. And that simply could be the furthest thing from the truth. The truth might be, well, the dominants will only let people have purple that year. So you're wearing colors that you don't know why certain aspects of the colors are the way they are, why there's certain colors, certain patterns, certain symbols, certain names, certain sayings. You don't know why they exist. You don't know what you're wearing on your back. It's kind of silly. So those, I believe, are some good habits that'll get you rolling and get you started and get you moving quickly in your dynamic prospecting and get you up to speed. I think if you initiate some of those habits, to be proactive and have initiative, to be inquisitive and ask questions, to volunteer yourself, to learn your history, to learn the stories of your brothers, to learn the full names and as much information as possible to help a brother out if he wrecks on the highway. These are the kinds of things that make you a dynamic, strong, intelligent, and successful prospect. So good luck in your dynamic prospecting. Do well. Have an excellent time. Listen, hit the subscribe button and share if you like this page. Information about my latest articles you can go see at ezine.com, and that information will be down in the credits, in the details about this thing, and up in the About section. And we do appreciate you very much. And right now I'm still at 350 some pounds, and we're in our losing phase. So I will report to you guys daily what I weigh and what I'm eating. And be sure to look for me on Instagram, JBunchII, and be sure to look at me on what is that thing? Oh yeah, Twitter, JBunchII. And the word of today is dotard, D-O-T-A-R-D. That's really interesting. Really appreciate you all. Love you all. Thank you for watching. and get skinny.